Saw dudes, as you all know, the Banner of War aspect for Strand Titans is pretty busted, and works extremely well in endgame content. You become a walking pylon of healing for the team, and increase the damage of swords, which pairs extremely well with Stronghold. Swords got buffed in Season 22 as well, so this build is essentially a V2 Electric Boogaloo version of a past build of mine that featured the Lament. Today, we're ditching it for something else to add a little bit of spice, but don't worry, this build has a ton of safety measures that involve restoration times 2, and ridiculous levels of damage resist, and you'll be extremely hard to kill. Let's get started. Blade Fury is the only super we can use, but it's good at clearing crowds and locking down majors in high-end content. The Barricade is up to preference, but I chose to run Towering Barricade this time around. Being in the middle of fights means that Rally Barricade won't always provide enough cover to be useful. Frenzied Blade severs enemies, reducing their outgoing damage by 40%, and can be used as a movement tool in a pinch. I highly suggest using Shackle Grenade as a get-off-me tool, since there is no other form of crowd control in the build other than our super. For my aspects, I went with the aforementioned Banner of War and Into the Fray. Banner of War is activated when we kill an enemy with a sword, glaive, finisher, or melee attack. The banner sends out healing pulses periodically, with the frequency increasing with the amount of kills achieved after activation. It also buffs melee, glaive, and sword damage. Into the Fray causes destroyed tingles to release 3 pulses that apply Woven Mail and heal allies for 10 HP each. The same effect can be achieved by casting Blade Fury. While Woven Mail is active, our melee regeneration rate is increased by 400%. For the Fragments, I went with Thread of Generation, Rebirth, Transmutation, and a flex slot between Evolution and Warding. Generation grants grenade energy for each damage instance on enemies. Rebirth causes Strand weapon kills to progress a counter that spawns Threadlings based on enemy rank. Transmutation causes weapon kills to spawn Tangles while Woven Mail is active. And Thread of Evolution causes Threadlings to travel 30% faster and further and deal 33% more damage. Use this if you are confident in staying alive. Thread of Warding, on the other hand, grants Woven Mail on Orb pickup. Use this fragment for the maximum amount of survivability. Let's go over the Swordsman armor. Starting with the helmet, I used Harmonic Siphon, Special Ammo Finder, and Heavy Ammo Finder. With Stronghold, I slotted Grenade Kickstart, Impact Induction, and Bolstering Detonation. On the chestplate were Melee Damage Resistance, Loosened Blades, and Harmonic Reserves. For the legs, I ran Recuperation, Innervation, and Harmonic Scavenger. Finally, on the mark were Proximity Ward, Reaper, and Bomber. I would recommend maxing out Resilience and Discipline. Resilience stacks with the other forms of damage resistance provided by the rest of the build and lowers the Barricade cooldown. Discipline lowers our Shackle Grenade cooldown, giving us more wiggle room when it comes to more dangerous enemies. Let's go over the weapons for today's build. Weapon Loadout 1 is the only loadout for today, but it's very flexible and allows for different playstyles. In the kinetic slot, I used Until Its Return, crafted with auto-loading holster and Cascade Point for champion melting. You could also craft it with Surrounded in the 4th slot if you want more DPS without the increase in fire rate. Until Its Return is an amazing rapid fire frame shotgun and goes well with any close range oriented build. For simplicity's sake, I'll skip to the heavy weapon then loop back to the energy slot. For the heavy slot, I equipped Thin Precipice, the Strand Vortex frame sword from Season of the Deep. I crafted mine with Hungry Edge, Balanced Guard, Relentless Strikes, and Chain Reaction. This sword works wonders for ad clear with light attacks, but goes a step further with Thread of Rebirth, which causes Threadlings to spawn on kills. Combined with Chain Reaction, we essentially have ad clear on autopilot. The heavy attack is no slouch either, since it's capable of chunking majors if they start surrounding you. Let's cover the energy slot, since this is open to any number of exotic weapons. In the footage, I was using Risk Runner for the easy mob wiping and 50% resistance to arc damage. It goes great with keeping Banner of War up and is a mindless weapon that puts in work. If you're looking to extend your engagement range a bit while still focusing on ad clear, consider using Graviton Lance, since the Cosmology perk can clear fodder from range. If you want to mix up long range ad clear and major chunking, I can recommend Tiku's Divination. It works extremely well against all factions, and the AoE damage is great for high-end content. If you're just trying to have a good time, I can say that Tommy's Matchbook is an amazing choice, since you can regenerate health that gets burned away by its exotic perk. The healing provided by Restoration and Banner of War allows Tommy's to take full advantage of its Scorch and Ignition damage. The game loop of the build is fairly simple. Block using Thin Precipice to get perfect guard stacks, and start using light attacks to proc Banner of War and Restoration times 2. Keep killing ads using light attacks to spawn Threadlings, and use a Shackle Grenade to create a Tangle for Woven Mail. If a high damage combatant shows up, briefly sheath the sword and use Frenzied Blade to sever it and lower its damage output. If Cascade Point is ready, mag dump Until Its Return and return to neutral. If you're in a bad spot and have a lot of ads around, try to use finishers to gain a hefty overshield. This overshield will allow Restoration and Banner of War to heal you. Try to conserve ammo by using your exotic energy weapon of choice, then rinse and repeat. I hope this build scratches an itch for sword users out there. I really think that this build deserves to stand next to the one that used Lament. They're similar, but I believe that Thin Precipice is better for ad clear and provides more area coverage. The combination with Until Its Return is just the cherry on top. Thank you for watching and happy farming.